What if the constant tired feeling you blame on stress, age, or lack of sleep is actually your body whispering a warning that most people ignore for months or even years? Iron deficiency does not arrive like a loud alarm. It slips in quietly, changing small things that seem harmless at first. And that is why so many people miss it. We grow up hearing that feeling drained is just part of adult life, that being cold means you did not wear enough layers, that losing some hair is normal, and that brain fog is just a busy mind. But sometimes these little shifts are not random at all. They are signals from your blood asking for help. Iron is not just a mineral listed on the back of a cereal box. It is the key that helps your red blood cells carry oxygen to every single part of your body, from your heart to your muscles to your brain. Without enough iron, your body still works, but it works slower, weaker, and less efficiently, almost like trying to run a powerful engine with low fuel. And the first sign many people notice is fatigue that feels different from normal tiredness. This is not the kind of tired that disappears after a good night of sleep. It is a deep, heavy exhaustion that makes simple tasks feel harder than they should. Climbing stairs feels like a workout, carrying groceries feels like lifting weights, and even sitting at your desk can feel draining because your muscles and brain are not getting the oxygen they need. Centuries ago, people described this as a pale sickness, and in the 19th century, doctors noticed that many young women who looked unusually pale and weak were suffering from what they called chlorosis, which we now know was often iron deficiency anemia. Back then, myths surrounded it. Some believed it was caused by sadness or weak character or too much studying, but modern science shows us it is a biological issue with real measurable causes. Another early sign is pale skin, and this can be subtle, especially in people with different skin tones. But if you notice that the inside of your lower eyelids look lighter than usual, or your gums seem less pink than before, it might not just be lighting. Your red blood cells give your skin its healthy color, and when iron levels drop, that color can fade. People sometimes joke that they look like a ghost after a long week, but when paleness sticks around, it deserves attention. Shortness of breath can also appear earlier than most expect. You might find yourself breathing harder after light activity or feeling winded while talking, and you may assume you are just out of shape. Yet even athletes can experience iron deficiency, especially runners and those who sweat heavily, because iron is lost in small amounts through sweat and through tiny amounts of blood loss in the digestive system during intense exercise. This is why some coaches now regularly monitor iron levels in female athletes in particular, since menstruation adds another source of iron loss. And that brings up one of the most common causes: heavy menstrual periods. Many women are told that painful, heavy periods are simply part of being female, and that weakness during that time is normal. But losing more blood each month means losing more iron, and over time that can create a significant deficit. Pregnancy is another time when iron needs increase dramatically because the body is building more blood to support a growing baby. Historically, pregnant women were often advised to eat liver and other iron-rich foods, not because of tradition alone, but because communities observed that women who consumed these foods had more strength and fewer complications. Today, prenatal vitamins often include iron for that same reason, but not everyone absorbs iron equally, and diet trends can play a role. Modern misconceptions about plant-based eating sometimes ignore the fact that iron from plant sources is absorbed differently than iron from animal sources. This does not mean you cannot get enough iron on a plant-based diet, but it does mean you need to be intentional. Pairing iron-rich foods like beans, lentils, and spinach with vitamin C-rich foods can improve absorption, while drinking tea or coffee with meals can reduce it because certain compounds bind to iron and block its uptake. These small daily habits can quietly shape your iron status over time. Another surprising early sign of iron deficiency is feeling unusually cold. If you often need a sweater when others are comfortable, or your hands and feet are constantly chilly, it may be related to low hemoglobin levels. Since oxygen delivery affects heat regulation, your body prioritizes vital organs and may reduce blood flow to extremities. Headaches and dizziness are also common, and they can feel like tension headaches or lightheaded spells when you stand up quickly because the brain is sensitive to oxygen changes. Some people describe it as a fog that makes focusing harder or remembering simple things more difficult. You might find yourself rereading the same sentence or losing your train of thought mid-conversation and blaming stress. Yet iron plays a role in neurotransmitter function and brain energy metabolism, so low levels can affect mood and cognition. There is growing research connecting iron deficiency to symptoms of anxiety and depression, especially in adolescents and women. And while iron is not the only factor in mental health, it can be one piece of a complex puzzle. Cravings can become strange, and this is one of the most fascinating signs in medical history. Some people With iron deficiency, develop a condition called pica where they crave non-food items such as ice, clay, dirt, or paper. Craving ice in particular is surprisingly common, and doctors are not entirely sure why, but some theories suggest that chewing ice increases alertness in iron-deficient individuals by boosting blood flow to the brain. If you find yourself constantly reaching for ice or craving odd textures, it might not just be a habit. Brittle nails are another subtle clue. Nails may become thin spoon shaped or prone to breaking because iron supports healthy cell growth in tissues, including skin, hair, and nails. Hair thinning can also occur since hair follicles require oxygen to grow. When resources are limited, the body prioritizes essential organs over hair growth, leading to shedding. Heart palpitations can develop as the heart works harder to circulate the limited oxygen available. You might feel your heart racing or pounding after minimal effort, and this can be frightening, yet it is often the body trying to compensate over time. Severe untreated iron deficiency can strain the heart and increase the risk of complications, which is why early detection matters so much. Culturally, there have been many myths about blood and strength. Ancient warriors believed consuming animal blood would transfer power, while some traditional remedies focused on iron cookware to increase iron intake. And interestingly, cooking acidic foods in cast iron pans can slightly increase the iron content of meals, showing that some traditional practices had scientific merit even if the reasoning was different. Today, we have laboratory tests that can measure ferritin levels, which reflect iron stores in the body, and hemoglobin levels, which indicate how well oxygen is being carried, but many people do not get tested until symptoms are significant, and routine blood work does not always include ferritin unless specifically requested. This is why awareness of early signs is so important. Children can also experience iron deficiency, especially during growth spurts when their bodies demand more nutrients. Signs in kids may include irritability, poor concentration, and slower growth. And in some parts of the world, iron deficiency remains one of the most common nutritional due to poor absorption. Conditions like celiac disease, inflammatory bowel disease, or after certain surgeries that affect the stomach or intestines. Stomach acid plays a role in iron absorption, so long-term use of acid-reducing medications can sometimes contribute as well. Even frequent blood donation can lower iron stores if not balanced with adequate intake, and monitoring the psychology of ignoring symptoms is powerful. We are conditioned to push through tiredness, to see fatigue as a badge of productivity, to assume that weakness is personal failure rather than a biological signal, and social media culture often glamorizes being busy and exhausted, but our bodies operate on biology, not trends. When oxygen delivery drops, every system feels the impact. And yet the solution can be straightforward once identified: increasing iron-rich foods such as lean meats, seafood, beans, lentils, fortified cereals, dark leafy greens, and seeds can help, and in some cases supplements are necessary, but these should be taken under medical guidance because too much iron can be harmful. Iron overload is a separate condition, and balance is key. Vitamin C enhances absorption, so combining foods wisely matters. For example, adding citrus to a spinach salad or pairing beans with tomatoes can make a difference. Small adjustments repeated daily can rebuild stores over time, but patience is required because it can take weeks or months to restore levels depending on severity. Listening to your body is not weakness, it is wisdom. If you notice persistent fatigue, pale skin, shortness of breath, unusual cravings, brittle nails, hair thinning, cold sensitivity, headaches, or heart palpitations, do not dismiss them as normal life. Consider discussing iron testing with a healthcare professional, especially if you are in a higher risk group, such as menstruating women, pregnant individuals, children, vegetarians, endurance athletes, or frequent blood donors. The story of iron deficiency is a reminder that our bodies communicate in whispers before they shout, and the earlier we respond, the easier the recovery can be. Imagine regaining steady energy, thinking clearly, feeling warmth return to your hands, and strength to your steps. That transformation often begins with a simple blood test and a shift in awareness. Health history teaches us that many conditions once blamed on character or fate were actually rooted in nutrition and biology, and iron deficiency is one of those stories where science replaced myth, empowering people with knowledge. So the next time you feel a deep, unexplained tiredness or notice subtle changes in your body, pause and ask, what might this mean? Because paying attention could protect your heart, your brain, your mood, and your daily quality of life. Your blood carries life through you every second, and giving it what it needs is one of the most basic forms of self-care. If this opened your eyes or reminded you of something important, take a moment to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more clear, practical health stories that help you listen to your body before it has to shout.